It is the member for Pittwater indeed. Member for Pittwater has a call.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is for the Minister for Roads. Minister, my community has suffered from decades of flooding on the Wakehurst Parkway. It's a key arterial road which runs to the city and to our hospital, and it closes when it rains. In 2022, it closed 22 times and as recently as last week. When will my community see construction actually start on the long-promised flood mitigation works?
I call the Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I thank the member for her question. She's a really strong really strong advocate. I thought you'd gone back up. A really strong advocate for her community. And even just this week, we've been having meetings about a whole range of issues in your electorate. And it would be really good if anyone else on that side of the chamber in the blue and yellow benches wanted to take up the same kind of advocacy that you do. It's really well done. And also want to take a moment to give a little shout out to my team up there from Maitland Orthon. It's great to have you in the chamber. Thanks, and welcome to Parliament. Good to see you. Look, the Wakehurst Parkway is a key state road, and as the member has said, it has had significant flooding in 2022. That's why we made that election commitment for an additional $13 million for flood mitigation works on the Wakehurst Parkway. And Mr. Speaker, I'm really pleased to share that we are moving ahead on this. We know that that road is a key connection for tens of thousands of commuters every day, and critically to the Northern Beaches Hospital, it's a primary route for that access. And as you talked about, those 22 closures in 2022, we've had sections of the road flooding on average for around 5 hours, 6 to 7 times a year. So it's not just been in that time. 4 sites have been investigated for flood mitigation work on that, at Oxford Falls, the Bends, the Sydney Academy of Sport and Recreation, and Site 1, close to Northern Beaches Hospital, is one of the most susceptible sites on the parkway to flooding. And in effect, that section first floods, and then it closes it off, and then it closes the Northern Beaches from the hospital and from the rest of Sydney. So we are changing that. We've got a construction expression of interest released to the market in June this year, and that is to improve the flood mitigation at that particular site. 4 companies have been shortlisted to tender for that work, and the tender is expected to be released in the coming weeks. And we're expecting to have that contract awarded in early 2026. And I'm pleased to say that major construction should commence shortly after that time. We're also partnering with Northern Beaches Council to deliver flood mitigation at sites 2, 3 and 4, and our concept designs are progressing on those sites, and we're working very close with Council, so very pleased to share a further update with you in the future. Now, Mr. Speaker, it's very disappointing that it's taken so long to get to this point. The members talked about the events in 2022, but actually in 2013, the former Liberal government investigated improvements to Wakehurst Parkway to provide full flood mitigation, and then decided, no, it's too hard, too expensive, not going to do much about this. And in fact, when the Labor Party committed to this project before the last election.
Member for Pittwater seeking an extension.
Sorry.
2 minutes is granted.
Thank you for that, because it's really important to get this on the record. When Labor committed to this project before the last election, the previous Liberal member for Pittwater criticised us for funding the project. The local roads that people use every day, neglected, not funded. Anyone else wants to come in and lend a hand, like us, like the member for Pittwater? Well, that's not on, because we just want to do nothing in these electorates because they're safe. Well, I think the member for Pittwater has shown that it's not a safe seat. It's not a seat that governments of any colour or persuasion can take for granted. And when we come to flood mitigation, and coming from a flood area myself, we know that that is a really important thing for people, and it really disrupts lives. So we are working closely, as I've said, with Northern Beaches. There's $31.1 million here. $24 million is being worked through with Northern Beaches Council. The remaining $7.1 million is going towards that work that we're doing at Site 1, and that will be happening. And that is why the Liberals lost the Northern Beaches, and that is why they elected 2 strong members, independents like yourself, and the member for Wakehurst in their place, because the Minns Labor government is building the resilience
Member for
and
Oxley,
infrastructure
member for
our
Oxley will
communities
come to
need.
order, as will other members.
We are fixing the road. I acknowledge the
Member for Upper Hunter.
interjection of the member for Ku-ring-gai. That's the problem, that they talk about they didn't do it. We've got construction contracts happening. We will be starting in 2026, and we'll be looking forward to work with you and your community into the future. Thank you.